So let's say you have a Jeep or side-by-side or a buggy and it's 12 feet long and you're shopping for a trailer. Initially you might think, I'll just buy a 12-foot trailer, maybe a 14-foot trailer, and that'll be great. But let me tell you why you might consider a longer trailer than that. So this is a 6x12 trailer I built back in 2016. It's got a 10-foot long deck with a 2-foot dovetail on the back. It's nominally 6 feet wide, it's actually about 76 between the fenders. And I originally built this in 2016 for my Lotus 7 replica to haul it to autocross. At the time, I didn't want a full-size car hauler for a 1,500-pound car, and I didn't want to buy just a regular utility trailer because they were all, pretty lightly built, or they had a top rail, which was annoying. And I didn't really care for fold-down ramp gates because the way they hold themselves up typically breaks, and then it acts like a parachute going down the road. So what I ended up building was a miniature car hauler, if you will, with a 3-inch channel frame. At the time, it had a single axle underneath it with no brakes, but after I started using it for the truggy and then eventually solid axle swapped the truggy with these J10 axles and 35s, it got a lot heavier, so I added the second axle and added brakes. So the main reason I wanted to do this video is people seem to be obsessed with a trailer that is no bigger than necessary for whatever vehicle they're hauling. And I'll admit that I was once in that camp. I used to be kind of obsessed with a trailer built by Fred Williams of Motor Trend fame. He has a trailer that is built, it's a single axle dually trailer, and it's built to hold just a Jeep, nothing more. And I always thought that was really cool. But later on, I found out after building this one why it's not so cool. So let's just talk about really quickly the pros of a smaller trailer like this. And when I say a small trailer, I mean small in terms of the deck size. I'm not talking about its weight capacity. So if you have a trailer that's too small weight capacity wise for whatever you're hauling, that's unsafe. Even if it's close to the rated capacity, it's unsafe. Don't do it. Here I've got a 7,000-pound trailer with brakes, and it has a 3,500-pound vehicle on it. So weight-wise, this trailer is perfectly capable of handling everything. Just the size presents some challenges, and I'll tell you about those challenges here in a second. So first of all, a smaller trailer is going to be easier to maneuver, right? This trailer, because it's shorter and narrower, I can get through pretty much any gas station. Restaurants, hotels, parking lots in general, not an issue. Generally speaking though, travel plazas, truck stops are still easier, so I typically go to those. The smaller trailer is going to be lighter, so it's somewhat easier to tow. It takes less material, so if you're building it, it costs less material. If you're buying it, it's going to be cheaper because it takes less material, obviously. And a smaller trailer can be easier to store, so if you're limited on space to store a trailer, that can help also. But that's pretty much it. The first problem with the smaller trailer is ramp storage. So these ramps here are 6 feet long. They have to store across the front of this trailer because it's too short for ramp storage at the back. So I can't put ramps underneath the deck. I can't put ramps sliding in from the back. There's just nowhere else to put them on a small trailer because of that. So these ramps are 3/16 steel. They're kind of heavy, and it's a pain to have to pick them up and move them to the back every time. But like I said, because it's a small trailer, there's really nowhere else to put them. So another challenge with the short trailer is getting the vehicle strapped down. This is your typical 2-inch vehicle ratchet strap for securing a load to a trailer. And as you can see, between the ratchet and the hook, there's a length of webbing here. Well, the truggy has to be so close to the front here that this can't actually reach up around the axle. The ratchet gets into the tie rod here, and if you have to use an axle strap like this, obviously you still can't even do that. There's not enough room. So the ratchet straps I'm using now, these are designed to be tire straps. They're designed to go around the tire and then ratchet down, and the ratchet itself has a hook so it can tie up very closely. It's not perfect, but this is the best setup I've ever had on here, and I'm the most happy with it. Before, I was limited to pretty much having one strap on the front, one strap on the rear. Here I can have 4 individual straps. But like I said, it's not perfect because these actually hit the hook before they get into the latch position, so I can't lock them fully. So I've also tried tire straps, but they don't hold securely enough for my taste. The summers are short in the mountains, so they don't have a lot of time to do repairs on the road. As such, I-70 across Colorado looks like this. It's incredibly rough the entire way across the mountains. The biggest problem with a short trailer is load distribution. So the truggy's big enough here on this trailer that it fits in one spot, front to back. Can't go really much farther forward, it can't really go any farther back. As a result, I have a little bit too much tongue weight. Now that's a lot safer than too little tongue weight or having it rear heavy. But once again, if this trailer was even 2 feet longer, so a foot on either side of the axles, I could position this a little bit better to have better load distribution. And so in hindsight, knowing what I know now, how would I have built this differently? I'd probably make it 4, maybe 6 feet longer, leaving myself some room for maybe a toolbox, maybe motorcycles, maybe something else on here, even a cooler. Right now there really isn't even room for a cooler except underneath the truggy or spare tires, anything. So I'd build it 4, maybe 6 feet longer, and then I would actually make it wider also. So this has spring perches on 70-inch width. It's about 76 inches between the fenders, and these tires barely squeeze between the fenders. I would go ahead and build an 82, 84-inch wide trailer just because it doesn't take that much more material to build that much wider, and would let me have wider axles or haul more stuff on here. The dovetail, I would keep the 2-foot dovetail because that's necessary to load my Lotus 7 replica, because it's much lower to the ground. So if I didn't have the dovetail, I would need even longer ramps, which once again, I have no space to put longer ramps, so I would keep the 2-foot dovetail. So anyway, the moral of the story is buy a longer trailer. I don't know how else to put it. Buy a trailer that gives you enough room that you can locate the vehicle front to back and position the load properly, gives you plenty of room to tie it down, and maybe even gives you room for a toolbox or cooler or motorcycle or something. So anyway, hope that helps if you're shopping for a trailer or thinking about a trailer. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.